About 12 years ago, when I was getting ready for my practicum in order to become a certified yoga teacher, I was assigned Warrior 3 as the pose that I would teach as my peak pose in a 20-minute teaching segment to approximately 25 other students and several teachers who would be evaluating us. I was frustrated with that assignment because I would have preferred to teach guided meditation along with Shavasana. But my teacher smiled when I made this suggestion and said, "Anne, you already know how to do that well. So that's why you're teaching Warrior 3. So I went home trying to figure out how I was going to do this in such a short span of time. And in approximately 3 weeks from that moment that I spoke with my teacher, and I decided to get a large blank canvas out of my garage. I gathered all of my yoga books on the floor, and I opened them up to anything having to do with Warrior 3 in order to study the pose deeper, understand the energy of the pose, why it existed. And I began to sketch the pose onto a canvas. Eventually, I painted it. And another friend who is a yoga teacher suggested that I make postcards of the painting for the future and possibly hand them out after I would teach yoga, or maybe after I taught that pose in later classes. And I thought that was a fantastic idea. And could I get the postcards printed actually prior to my practicum as a little keepsake? And it all worked out. The postcards arrived 2 days prior to my practicum, and I was able to successfully teach Warrior 3. I got a great evaluation, and I handed out the postcards as keepsakes and became a yoga teacher. So, approximately 3 months ago, I wrote the lyrics to a song, and it's called The Warrior's Dance. And it wasn't until recently that I realized that the postcard, that the painting, it has less to do with trying to teach the pose and more to do with my healing journey and transformation through the years since having to deal with some tremendous losses in my life. So I thought I would share the lyrics. The music is not created yet. And if you are a musician or you're just dabbling, if you want to reach out because you're interested in helping me find the notes for these words, I would really appreciate it. And we could just see where that goes. But this song, for anyone that's ever been through anything hard, and that's all of us. I'm not saying that my situation is any harder than the next person's. I think all of our journeys are different, that we're placed here to have different experiences from each other and to share our growth, to share our discoveries, to share our experiences, and to share love. That's the bottom line. So, if anything of my lyrics of this future song touches your heart or your soul, then that's fantastic. I feel a need to share it and to wrap it in a package together with my painting because they mirror each other. And the reality is, I didn't realize the mirror until I started really working on the song. And I've been editing since I first wrote it. and finally think I have a final version. But enjoy it and have a great day. Thanks for listening. The Warrior's Dance by Ann Kelly. I've come out of the fog where the past lost its grip. Moonlight on my shoulders, spirit's truth on my lip. The climb wasn't pretty, but the views got me high. I traded my silence for a voice that won't die. And I won't turn back, not this time, not again. My scars are my stories, not something to mend. I've danced in the ashes, I've wept with the stars, but I walk like a woman who warred with her Mars. I've stood in the ruins, hands shaking with doubt, tried to pray it away, tried to scream it all out, but grace found me barefoot as my tears kissed the skies. Said, "You're not done, love. There's fire in your eyes." And I won't turn back, not this time, not again. My scars are my stories, not something to mend. I've danced in the ashes, I've wept with the stars, and I walk like a woman who warred with her Mars. I've run with wild mustangs, no reins on my soul. Learned the wind doesn't ask if it's blowing too cold. Now I carve my own canyon beneath God's vast sky, and I walk toward a future where I don't have to try to be anything less than that flame in my eyes. Let them call me too much. I was never meant to play small. There's thunder in women who rise after falls. I've broken the silence, I've broken the mold. Each inhale is sacred, my exhale gold. And I won't fade, not this time, not ever again. My scars are my stories, not something to mend. I have danced in the ashes, I've wept all my tears. Now I stand as a warrior for the rest of my years. The divine in my heart, his song in my ears. Namaste.